Hello, everyone, and good morning. Well, we know our gut and brain are connected. So now we need to focus on our gut health. And how do we do that? That's the question, the million dollar question. So that's why we have Ericka with us. She is a registered dietitian focusing on gut health and making all of us understand the basics of that. Welcome, Ericka. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me to chat with you today.
I'll let you start.
Sure. Yeah. So today I really want to talk about the foundations of gut health and the things that we need to have in place, perhaps before you go starting on a supplement protocol to heal your gut. So these are really the foundational pieces that we should be working on that are essential for your gut health. So the first thing that I want to touch on is meal timing. So we cannot talk about meal timing for gut health without addressing something called the migrating motor complex. So we want to think of the migrating motor complex, if you've never heard of it before, like a broom that goes through your digestive system or the cleanup crew. So contractions take place, and that sweeps things like food residues, microbes, and debris into your colon. So the MMC dysfunction, and I'm going to call it the MMC from now on because it's a little bit shorter, but that is a common root cause of digestive disorders like IBS and SIBO. So something that really turns off the function or deactivates the MMC is snacking frequently. So if you're a snacker or if you're grazing throughout the day, we don't get as many MMC cycles that we would like to support your digestive symptoms. And also like if we're eating late at night. So what I recommend is that for my clients that we leave 3 to 5 hours in between meals to allow for optimal function of the MMC and 12 hours overnight. Okay, so when there aren't adequate MMC cycles, bacteria and food particles can accumulate, and that leads to fermentation and overgrowth of bacteria, which then leads to symptoms like gas, bloating, constipation, and diarrhea. So in order to optimize MMC and really support the function of the MMC, we want to leave around 3 to 5 hours in between meals and snacks. And in order to do so, we want to make sure that meals and snacks are well balanced and satisfying so that they contain lots of healthy fats and high fiber carbohydrates and good quality proteins to keep you satisfied in between meals to help minimize that grazing. Okay, so for someone that might look like eating breakfast at 8 and then lunch at 12, maybe a snack around 3 and then dinner around 7, and that's going to give you that optimal meal spacing that we're looking for. And if you can, do that 12 hours overnight without eating as well. Okay.
I think that's a great. We always kind of, like you said, we keep snacking, right? At least I know I do. I have a very bad habit of snacking in between and never pay attention to the 3 and 4 hour window, which is so important, as you said that. What are the factors that are important for optimal gut health?
So we also want to talk about digestion basics. So these are 3 things that I always like to keep in mind for how we're going to support our body to be able to digest foods properly. Number 1 is to kind of go into your meal best you can in a relaxed state. So that can be done by taking 30 seconds of deep like belly breaths before your meal, before you start eating, maybe doing a couple rounds of box breathing. So I like box breathing. It's when you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and out for 4. And doing a couple rounds of that really helps to get you into the rest and digest or the parasympathetic nervous system. If we're eating when we're in a stressed out state, we're really not able to prioritize digestion and release of digestive juices that are absolutely necessary for proper digestion of food. Okay. Also eating in a relaxed environment. So I know that it's really hard these days, working from home, we're eating in front of the computer, checking emails, whatever it may be, but really trying to set aside 20 minutes to eat, really focus on your meal in a relaxed environment. So then you can actually eat mindfully, focus on the food in front of you and slow down. And the last thing, and this is just a few tips, but one really last important tip is to be chewing well. I feel like this is something that most of us don't do properly, and I'm guilty of it as well, but we need to be chewing our food until it's pretty much applesauce consistency. So remember that our stomach doesn't have teeth. So when we're not chewing our food properly, it puts a major extra load of stress and work on our digestive tract. So we want to be chewing until applesauce consistency. That might look like 30 to 40 times per bite. So it might be helpful to just count a couple times and see like, oh, wow, I'm definitely not chewing enough, just to see where you might be. Chewing helps us to properly break down our food and also increase nutrient absorption. And it signals to the digestive tract that, hey, food is coming. So you better release those digestive juices so you can properly digest and absorb. So yeah, those are the three basics of digestion that I really like to focus on with clients initially is, a little bit of deep breathing before meals to make sure that we're as relaxed as possible, eating in a relaxed environment, and then chewing very well.
Okay, anything else you'd like to add? This is a quick 10-15 minute session that we bring. The importance of sleep and stress on gut health. Do you want to touch up a little bit on that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We can touch on sleep. So when we don't get enough sleep, it can really take a hit on your gut health as well as your hormones. So things like cortisol, which is that stress hormone, increases with inadequate sleep. And then having elevated levels of cortisol really impacts your ability to properly digest foods and contribute to things like leaky gut. So I like to work on establishing a consistent sleep and wake time that allows for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Having a caffeine cutoff time, most people do well around like 12, maybe 2 o'clock if we're pushing it, but definitely having a cutoff time that works well for you. Minimizing blue light. So blue light really increases that cortisol and decreases melatonin, which is the opposite of what we want to do at night. So trying to be away from that computer, screens, TV about an hour or two. And the one really helpful thing is, and I don't think we think about it enough, is making sure that we're actually getting exposure to sunlight in the morning. So maybe going on a morning walk or eating your breakfast near a window where you're getting some sun, that helps to really increase production of serotonin, which is that hormone that helps to boost mood and increases melatonin production at night. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to add? This is like a quick 10-minute session. We just wanted to cover the basics of optimal gut health that all of us can do on a daily basis. Ericka, anything else before I wrap up today?
Yeah, that's all. That's all for today in terms of the basics that we should all be working towards, whether you want to, optimize diet, whether you have digestive symptoms or not. These are all things that I think everyone can benefit from.
All right. Well, we know that gut health is the fundamental, like it's a second brain, right? That is what we have been reading in research now on how it affects everything in our system. In fact, Ayurveda talks about the digestion. So it's the most important thing, taking care of our thyroid, our mental health, and all the other systems in our body. So please pay attention to your gut health, as Ericka is talking about, using simple methodologies. With that, thank you so much for your support, and thank you, Ericka, for being with us. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for having me.
Bye.